Girafarig is a normal psychic type Pokemon introduced in Generation 2. Its base stats are average, I suppose, with its highest being in special attack. It is only weak to bug types and dark types because it is a normal psychic type, so it can't get hit by ghost type moves. The moves it learns through level up are mainly psychic and normal. It's got Crunch at level 54. We start with Confusion, Growl, and Stomp and Tackle, so 4 moves right off the bat. Moves learned by TM are decent, I suppose. We got a little variety. We got Mud Slap as our only ground type one that we could, or no, we got Earthquake too. And then the rest of them are mainly like normal psychic. We got a fire type move, and that's really all there is. So I switched Cyndaquil for Girafarig. That way we would have for Alligator that has Crunch, making it slightly difficult. So the first rival fight comes up. Send out his Totodile. We send out Girafarig clearly. Stomp this Alligator or Crocodile, whatever. Stomp on it, confuse it. That's it. Next up is Falkner. Send out his Pidgey. We go ahead and stomp, one-shot it. Up next, Pidgeotto, we stomp, get the flinch off, then use Confusion and finish it off. Up next is the second rival fight. Sends out his Ghastly, we use Girafarig and hit him with a Confusion, one-shot it. Up next is Zubat, we do the same thing, Confusion, take it out. Crocodile comes out, we use Stomp, it has a little bit more than half HP, you stomp again, it flinches, you stomp a third time and take it out. And then we learn Agility. Up next is Bugsy. We send out a Metapod, we go ahead and use Confusion, take it out. That was a one-shot. Up next is Scyther. I use Confusion again, hoping to one-shot it, we take it a little bit less than half HP away from it. Do it again, get it down to like 1 HP, you stomp and finish it off. Last Pokemon's Kakuna, Confusion, one-shot it. Easy as that. Fight's over. Up next is Whitney. It sends out her Clefairy, and we go ahead and use Headbutt because we get stabbed from that. It's slightly stronger than Stomp. Use that twice to take it out. Next up is her Miltank. I use Headbutt once more. Take it down to about a third. Take out about a third of its HP. Its roll isn't actually doing as much as I expected, so we did Headbutt about 3 times and finish her off. Up next is the Burn Tower Rival Fight. Sends out Haunter. We go ahead and use Confusion to one-shot it. Up next is Croconaw. We use Headbutt and one-shot it as well. Up next comes Magnemite. I use Headbutt, take down to about a quarter of HP. It uses Supersonic and we hit ourselves with Confusion a few times. And then finally we use a Headbutt once more and finish it off. Up next is Zubat. We use Confusion, hurt ourselves. Use the Bite, we're down to 11 HP, get rid of Confusion and then finish off. Up next is Morty. Sends out his Ghastly, we send out our Girafarig, use Confusion, one-shot it. Up next comes his Gengar, and we use Confusion to take it down to a few HP. Do it again and finish it off. Up next is Haunter, Confusion and finish that one off. And the last one is another Haunter, just at level 23, use Confusion and finish that one off as well. Up next is Sir Chuck. He sends out his Primeape, we send our Girafarig, use Confusion, and we one-shot it, surprisingly. Up next is Poliwrath. We use Headbutt because I thought it would take out more HP. Use Mind Reader and we use Confusion and finish it off, and that was it. I thought he had a third Pokemon, but I guess not. Up next is Jasmine, and my god, this took forever. I was on this fight for probably like an hour. So I used Side Beam on the first Magnemite, and then the second one as well. We confused the second one, and it hurts us into Confusion, and thankfully we didn't get hit by a Thunder Wave. Up next is our Steelix. I go ahead and use Mud Slap to try to reduce its accuracy, because it's going to use Iron Tail, which is 100 power, it has 100 base power. Then we start using Mud Slap to lower its accuracy, and then I remember that Side Beam does more damage, because Steelix's special defense is lower. We used that a few times. When it's down to a little bit of HP, she uses a Hyper Potion, and I went ahead and started using Side Beam more. I used Screech, failed, we used Side Beam once more, it misses its Iron Tail, Mud Slap it, it misses Iron Tail again, and then Mud Slap it until it is done. So for the Rocket Hideout, I wasn't sure if this was something I would record, because I'm not sure if this is actually technically a boss fight. Send out his Zubat, we just stomp on it. Send out his Raticate, we stomp on that as well. And one-shot both of them, and then he sends out his Coughing, which, yet again, we stomp on it, because why not? And then we beat Rocket Executive. Up next is the final Rocket Executive fight for this hideout. Sends out their Arbok, I use Side Beam, to one-shot it, because we're level 46, this thing's level 23, we're twice its level. Send out the Murkrow, we go ahead and stomp on the bird, and finish that one off. Bloom comes out, and I decided to stomp on the plants, because why not? And then we beat Rocket Executive. Up next is the 6th gym, this is Price. Send out a Seal, we send out our Girafarig and use Psybeam on it to one-shot it. We grow to level 48, it's a pretty high level for Gen 2. So we use Psybeam when he sends out his Dugong, take down to about a quarter health, uses a Roar Beam, does like chip damage basically. And then we use Psybeam again to finish it off. Piloswine, Piloswine, I don't know how it's pronounced. We Psybeam on that, take down to like 5 HP or so, uses Blizzard. He uses Hyper Potion, but then we use Psybeam and nearly one-shot it, and then stomp on it to finish it off. Up next is the Rocket Radio Tower takeover thing. So we're inside the radio tower at the top floor. Sends out his coughing, we use Psybeam to one-shot that. And then I realized he has 6 coughings, I think. He just had 6 Pokemon and they were insanely easy because we're level 50, these are level 30. I used Psybeam on all of them. Not much else to say for the fight. Well, actually I think there was like, yeah, there was a Weezing. I'm not sure if he had a Houndour or Houndoom or something. I think he just had all coughings and a Weezing. I can't remember until right now. Yeah, they were all coughings and a single Weezing, so we used Psybeam on all of them and finished them off. Up next is the Underground Rival Fight. It starts out with the Golbat. We use Psybeam and one-shot it. We level up to level 51. Sneasel comes out. I decided to stomp on it because all the other moves would be not very effective or just ineffective. Use Psybeam on Alligator, take it down to about quarter health, and do it once more to finish it off. Up next was Magnemite. I just went ahead and used Shadow Ball. Got hit by a Thunder Wave, so we had paralysis. We were fully paralyzed for like 2 or 3 turns, and Mud slapped it to finish it off. Up next comes Haunter. Yeah, I used Psybeam, one-shot that, and that's the end of the battle. Up next is the last Rocket Executive fight. It starts out with a Houndour. We start off with Girafarig, clearly, because that's the only Pokemon we've been using. Mud slap it to one-shot. Up next comes this Houndoom, so we go ahead and use Mud Slap on that, take it down to about half HP. It misses Bite, we use Mud Slap again, and get it down to like 1 HP. It uses Bite, does a decent amount of damage to us, and then I decided to Stomp to finish it off. We get to level 54 and learn Crunch, so I forgot Mud Slap, so then that way we would have another variety for moves, stronger one. Use Crunch and Coughing, and one-shot it, and that was it. Up next is the Dragon-type Gym Leader Claire, the 8th gym. She starts out with Dragonair. I go ahead and use Psybeam to one-shot it. Since we're at level 55, they're about level 37. I used Crunch on the 2nd Dragonair, hoping to get the one-shot, but did not because we don't get the stab. So I used Psybeam to finish it off. Up next comes her 3rd Dragonair, which is basically the same as all the others, I believe. I use Psybeam. This is Thunder Wave somehow. And then up next comes her Kingdra. So we go ahead and use Psybeam on that. I did a little bit less damage than I expected to. He uses Surf, got a decent amount of damage onto us. She uses Hyper Potion, and I decided to use Psybeam again because we get stabbed from that, and we did a lot more than I expected that time. Use Psybeam the 2nd time and finish it off. And we get to level 56 as well. Next up is the final rival fight. Send out Sneasel, we send out Girafarig, clearly. We use Stomp to one-shot it. And we grow to level 59 as well. Send out the Golbat, we go ahead and Stomp. I just forgot to use a different move. And we one-shotted that as well. Sent out the Magneton. I went ahead with Crunch because I was hoping it would do a lot more. It misses its Thunder Wave, strangely enough, and we use Crunch again to finish it off. Up next is Kadabra. We once again use Crunch and finish it off. And then up next comes for Alligator. And I went ahead and used Psybeam and was expecting to one-shot it, but we confused it. I used Slash, did a small amount of damage, used Psybeam and finished that one off. Up next comes Haunter, and we just used Psybeam to one-shot this one, and that was the end of that battle. Up next is Elite Four Will. It starts out with Xatu, or Exalt, I don't know. And we use Shadow Ball to one-shot it. And then up next comes Jinx. I went ahead and used Crunch, even though Shadow Ball does about the same damage. So we finished that off. Executor, I decided to use Shadow Ball on that to one-shot it. Up next, well, we level up first. Up next comes Slowbro. We used Shadow Ball. We almost one-shot it. Used Amnesia, so we didn't really take any damage. I used Crunch and finished that one off. Up next comes another Xatu, or whatever it's called. I used Shadow Ball to one-shot that as well, and then with that, that was the end of the battle. Up next is Kobe. Starts out with the Ariados. We send our Girafarig and use Psybeam to one-shot it. That was an easy one. Up next is Fortress. I was struggling on remembering what type it was, so I used Crunch to see how much it would do. It used Spikes, but we're not going to be switching out. I used Psybeam, had a little bit more health. I used Split, to use Psybeam again to finish it off. Up next comes Crobat. We use Psybeam on the rest of his Pokemon, I'm pretty sure, because he doesn't really have too many good ones. Venomoth, I thought was Psychic for some reason. And then, Muck was easy one-shot. Psybeam, and finish it off. Up next is Link for Bruno. Starts out with Hitmontop, and we go ahead and use Psybeam to one-shot it. Grow to level 61, and send out his Onix. Psybeam that one again, because we just one-shot his entire team, I'm pretty sure. Send out his Hitmonchan, use Mach Punch. It didn't really do much damage. We use Psybeam and one-shot that. Up next is Hitmonlee. We use Psybeam, take that one out pretty quickly, and then is Machamp, which I thought was going to be an issue. We took it down in one hit, and simple as that. Up next is Elite Four Karen. She starts out with Umbreon. We go ahead and use Stomp, take it down to about half HP, use Stomp again, and finish it off. Murkrow comes out, we Stomp on the bird, one-shot that. Up next comes Houndoom. We use Stomp on that, and almost one-shot it. It flinches, she uses Max Potion, we use Stomp again, get roughly the same HP, and then Stomp it to finish off. Vileplume comes out, and I use Psybeam, so then we can one-shot this flower plant thing. Grow to level 62. Gengar comes out. I went ahead with Shadow Ball because it's a physical move in this generation, and finish it off. This is another fight that took me forever. You might notice I'm level 73 instead of level 60, whatever I was. This fight took me hours. Not hours, it took me like an hour, 20 minutes. Stand up was Gyarados, we just used Psybeam. The thing that was the death of me was this Dragonite was constantly using Thunder Wave, always paralyzing me, and missed it this time, and we send out the next Dragonite, use Psybeam, get it down to like a third of its HP, quarter maybe. It used Thunder Wave, but I had to paralyze Cure Berry, whatever it's called. Use Psybeam again to finish that off. We have full HP, we're at Aerodactyl. Use Psybeam, and almost one-shot Aerodactyl. I don't know why we didn't one-shot it now instead of before. Uses Ancient Power, and then has the stat boost. I use Crunch and finish it off. Up next comes Charizard. I thought this was going to be a harder one, but we end up almost one-shotting it. It only had a few HP left. Use Psybeam the second time and finish it off. We grow to level 74 as well. Send out the Dragonite level 50. I thought this thing was going to take me out. I thought this was the end of the run. I was going to have to like do this again. Uses Outrage. Doesn't do as much, and we finish off Lance. Just like that. This run was actually, well, first off, it was pretty fun. I didn't expect to run into problems with Jasmine or Lance. I just thought Mudslap would do a massive amount of damage because I was like, oh, it's special, but no, it's physical in Gens 1 through 3. Since certain moves types are special and some are physical. Lance, I kind of expected to run into issues, but I didn't expect his Dragonites to all have Thunder Wave and Hyper Beam. Overall, it was pretty fun. Not much else to say besides have a nice day, night, whatever time it is for you. Take care. Bye.